Begin with his backstory. Frank Lloyd Wright was born in Wisconsin to a charismatic father and an overprotective and, by some accounts, downright mean mother. But she loved him, and she prophesied that he was to be a builder of beautiful buildings. She famously gave Frank a set of Froebel blocks. They had a big influence on him. He said that the blocks continued to be in his fingers his entire life. After studying at the University of Wisconsin, Wright went to Chicago in search of work. It was at Adler and Sullivan that he found his master to apprentice under, Louis Sullivan, father of the skyscraper. He also coined the term form follows function. He was a pretty big deal, and Wright knew it. Wright said he became a good pencil in the master's hand. This is when Wright built his famous Oak Park home. He designed it when he was just 22 years old. It was very much inspired by the arts and crafts movement, which revered craftsmanship. Wright experimented with this house over many years. Maybe unsurprisingly, the studio portion grew to become much larger than the house itself. The other cool story, Wright built a bunch of bootleg homes during this time. While still under contract with Adler and Sullivan, he went out and got his own clients. This allowed him to gain more real experience, but was very much a breach of his contract. And when his bosses found out, he was promptly fired. So Wright is now on his own. He gets an office in Chicago and quickly gains a reputation. At this point, he's mostly designing homes, and here are a couple great examples. The Hurtley House. First thing you probably notice, it is very long, very horizontal. This is a key attribute of the prairie style in which Wright is famous for. The prairie style is uniquely American. The homes are meant to echo the flat Midwestern prairie. Note the repeated horizontals, the very low pitched roof, these extended broad eaves. The entryway is hidden. It's behind this parapet. And check out these enormous flower pots. You'll see these in many of his homes. Next, here is the Roby House. It's considered by many to be the quintessential prairie home. Again, check out all the horizontals. And these eaves are extremely overhung. Unity Temple. It's one of his most important buildings from this era and considered to be the first modern building in the world. When completed in 1908, it was not very well received. But Wright, of course, was ahead of his time. This is the great Hollyhock House. The theme here has been called Mayan Revival. You can see some similarities comparing it to temples in Palenque, an old Mayan city in southern Mexico. The house is built around a central courtyard, opening up into a little amphitheater and fountain. What's with the name? His client loved the hollyhock flower. Wright designed an abstracted hollyhock and used the motif throughout the entire house. In the dining room, you gotta see these chairs. You can see the hollyhock and Mayan design here, but also note how it looks like a spine. Next, let's do 4 LA area houses at once. The Millard House, the Storer House, the Freeman House, and the Ennis House. They're known as Wright's textile block houses. Check out the geometric concrete blocks in which they were made. Each home had its own pattern. These houses continued this Mayan revival look, and the idea was that by building with blocks, you could greatly cut down the price of a home. The textile houses are strikingly different than anything he had done before, but still epically beautiful. It's time to move on to Wright's most famous design, Falling Water. An hour outside Pittsburgh, it's one of the most famous homes in the US, maybe even the world. At this point, Wright has had a long career, but he's considered by many to be out of touch. With Falling Water, he taps into all his past experience, builds something in line with the prairie style, note the repeating horizontal lines, but also entirely new. I mean, it's on a waterfall. A defining characteristic of the home are the flying cantilevered balconies, seemingly balanced on this strong vertical line. Inside, you've gotta love this fireplace. Look at how the stones seep out from it. Also, notice how bright it is. You almost feel like you're still outside. Note that there's no stained glass here. Falling Water received immediate acclaim. Time magazine called it Wright's best work and put him on their cover in January 1938.